Hey guys, what's going on? This is Dan Solitro with another edition of Solitro Reviews Albums here on To All the Crowded Rooms, and today we're going to be talking about Sergio Anello's new album, No Heavier Burden. I'm going to be completely honest here. I had no idea that this album was a thing until a friend of mine, Brandon Rosenberg, reached out to me and told me about this. So Brandon, if you're watching this, thank you so much for sending this my way. You are the literal reason this review is happening. I've been looking forward to touching on this album for a bit ever since I received it. So let's not waste any time right here. Let's just dive right in. For those who may be unaware, Sergio Anello is actually the bassist of the Early November from Hamilton, New Jersey. This is actually Serge's second release following the record Tell or Be Told. Now, I've been a fan of the Early November for literal years. Hell, I'm from their hometown, and to see a member expand their sound is always a great time, especially from a band that has so much sentimental value to me. And while this isn't something that sounds exactly like the Early November, Serge created something very heartfelt and earnest here, and I believe it needs to be listened to. As I mentioned before, Serge's solo material is much different from what the Early November has established. Where the Early November pulled influence from emo and pop punk and indie rock, Serge is pulling influence from more folk and indie-oriented artists, and some of this made me think of Dustin Kensrue of Thrice's solo material, and even Bob Dylan, which I really appreciate because I've always had a soft spot for Mr. Dylan, and I've always loved Dustin's solo material. And as I was listening to this, I couldn't help but think this kind of reminds me of I Can Make a Mess Like Nobody's Business, which is actually Ascender's folk/indie side project. And that actually makes a lot of sense in my opinion, seeing how bandmates and their influences have the potential to rub off on each other over the years. Hell, Serge has a song on this album called Believe You Me, which actually kind of reminds me of the White Stripes song We're Gonna Be Friends. You know, that one song that plays in like the very beginning opening credits of Napoleon Dynamite. Yeah, I'm not sure if White Stripes were 100% a direct influence. There's something I kind of picked up on after listening to the record a couple of times. I don't know. It's kind of like White Stripes. That song's kind of like White Stripes means I Can Make a Mess, which I'm totally fine with. Some themes I was able to pick up on in this record are themes of relationships, vulnerability, and realizations of life itself. During the recording of this album, actually, Serge originally had a band performing with him, and later in that part of his career, he opted to have a more stripped-down feel. He was also fearful of being on stage alone, however, that sense of vulnerability seemed to push him in that direction of songwriting, and it shows in songs like We All Fall, which sees Serge in the most stripped-down way, with just a guitar and himself, and that song shows that theme of vulnerability very well in my opinion. Production was helmed by Serge's bandmate Ace Sanders at the Lumber Yard in Hamilton, New Jersey. With Ace's help, Serge was really able to bring these songs to life while still keeping the more raw and personal aspects that he had brought in from the very beginning. Ace did a fantastic job conveying what these songs are, and what we have is an album that I wouldn't necessarily say is unplugged, but it truly is a stripped down effort. All the instrumentation sounds exactly how it should, and both Ace and Serge really brought these songs to life. And that is it for Sergio Anello's No Heavier Burden. It is set to release October 23rd, and if you are interested in pre-ordering it, you can through two different sites. You can pre-order at sergioanello.bandcamp.com or at www.sundaydrive-records.com. And when the album releases, I would love to hear what your thoughts on the album are. Whether you liked it, you hated it, you thought it was okay. Please leave the comments down below. Also, make sure you like and subscribe. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. This is Dan Solitro signing out.